Shubhi.
Are you ready?
Shub, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, assalamu alaikum. Good evening, good day, good morning, according to where you are joining us, because we have people coming and attending this presentation from all over the world in different time zones. I am Shobi Ali, an Indo-Guyanese, born in Guyana, but living in London since childhood. I have studied Caribbean culture and indentureship for my degree. Unfortunately, Shakira could not be with us today, so I am standing in for her. This is the 194th edition of our Zoom public meeting. We wish to sincerely thank all of you who have contributed in whatever way to the success of this ongoing pan-Indo-Caribbean and pan-Indian diaspora, which has now become a global project for us. For 193 unbroken, continuous weeks, we have been here every single Sunday in the past 4 years and 1 week. We have featured an impressive 816 presenters from all parts of the world, speaking on 193 topics. And our topic tonight is one of my favorites, gold. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a weekly forum being hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Centre, which is a legally registered research and publishing company operating since 2010. In order to continue our weekly programme and to make it bigger and better, we are asking for your suggestions and also for you to be a volunteer, as well as your kind donations. Please contact Dr. Mahabir for details on these. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator this evening, tonight, is Shalimar Mohammed, who is the co-director of this Zoom platform. She is a business teacher and researcher from Trinidad and Tobago. She obtained her master's degree in business psychology from Franklin University in the USA. Shalimar, welcome. Please take over from here.
Thanks so much, Shubhi. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with us. This public meeting will take the form of a panel presentation followed by questions and comments from members of the audience. We are recorded live, and this recording will be uploaded later on YouTube permanently for posterity. We are also live streaming on the YouTube channel of the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center. So welcome to all of you on YouTube at this time. To avoid intrusions from trolls, Navin Mangal, our technical support today, has muted everyone. Speakers, please do not admit anyone, do not unmute anyone, and do not allow anyone to share your screen, please. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Over the next 2 hours, we will be talking about the significance of gold in India and the diaspora. In India, just 1 second, I'll get my thoughts back. In India, gold is deeply embedded in art, cultural traditions, and rituals. It is an integral part of weddings, festivals, and religious ceremonies. Gold is often passed down through generations as heirlooms. Beyond its cultural value, gold plays a pivotal role in the Indian economy, serving as a form of financial security. Why does gold hold immense cultural, economic, and symbolic significance in the Indian diaspora? Is gold a tangible connection to Indian heritage? Is its significance tied to Indian identity and belonging? Let's get some answers from our speakers. And we begin with Dr. Sushri Gupta of India. She's a lecturer in the history department at CCS University in Uttar Pradesh, where many of our ancestors came from. She's also a documentary filmmaker and an art and jewelry inquisitor or analyst. She was awarded the most innovative jewelry designer in 2018. Welcome, Dr. Gupta. You can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for providing me this platform. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you, Shalim. Thank you so much. Can you share this screen, please? Thank you. Today's my topic is golden sparrow of the word Bharat. Next. Now, this is literally first thank all of you to think about this topic because this is a mind-blowing topic and has the power to change the entire history. Why? Because in ancient time, India was called the golden sparrow of the world because there was a lot of wealth, not only in political scenario, that wealth was the part of Indian subcontinent society. Around 600 AD, India's per capita GDP was 1,300 US dollars, which was more than any other country of the world. But why? Why only gold has this power? Because gold is not the most precious metal. Most expensive metal is also not gold. Platinum is more expensive. Platinum, rhodium, thorium, all these metals are more expensive than gold. Then why gold? Because I think the whole scenario belongs to the Indian subcontinent. Indians believe that gold has the power to purify anything it touches. It also considered as the sign of power and wealth. Aside from that, it also symbolized good health, prosperity, and family. It is the traditional form of savings in India. Gold, it's a feeling of comfort and security in person's wealth. Next, please. Just to prove my point, the golden sparrow of the world, I have to focus on two most important aspects of the archaeological aspect and the historical aspect. In the archaeological aspect, we have to move on the 3500 BCE, the IBC. I don't know how many of you are familiar with IBC civilization in India. The Indus Valley civilization, the oldest, one of the oldest civilization of the world. And the whole uh, area, Merit region, is belongs to the IVC region. Sinoli and the Mandi, two very important sites are there. And when we explore and excavate the Mandi region, we excavate, I don't know you know or not, 80 kg of gold on a single place. That is Mandi. And one necklace was a 2 kg of pure gold. This is the element that can change the historiographical aspects, the political aspects, the entire economic aspects of any society. Why now? What is hidden in the gold element? There are two important qualities that gold has. One of the least reactive chemical element. What is the meaning of this? In Sanskrit, it's called Hiranyam, and with the symbol of AU, aurum, occurs naturally. In the purest form, it is bright, dense, malleable, and ductile matter. What is the meaning of this? Because we all are students of history, so we can't understand the basic 2 points. The least reactive material and the malleable and the ductile. The basic meaning of can please yeah. uh, I can see the slide.
Hold on, maybe
Yeah.
he's using some internet. Let me call him. Maybe some internet
Yes.
Oh.
is a little unstable.
Oh.
We apologize for this.
Oh, don't worry. Please, please.
I know when you're on a train of thought, it's very difficult to have it, to have your notes be removed. But
Thank
there we
you.
go.
Thank you. Then what are the two important aspects? That is the least chemical element, ductile. The meaning of ductile is only the whole periodic table, only gold. Au is the single metal that can't react with the nature. Why? You have silver, and after some time, silver convert into blackish metal. Same platinum with iron, rusting will be there. Only there is and surprisingly, this most surprising aspect is the artisans of the IVC, Indus Valley Civilization, know about this chemical quality. And after that, all dynasties, Mauryan dynasties, Gupta dynasty, and all dynasties, each and every dynasty use gold as the most precious element of the society. Next. Thank you. And gold, not in the form of bars, not in the form of nuggets, not in the form of coins. Jewelry is an important part of the Indian culture and society. It has historical and cultural significance. The historical roots of the gold importance in Indian can be traced back to the ancient times, with the reference in text dating back to the IBC. Gold was cherished for its rarity and beauty, making it symbol of purity and wealth. Religious and spiritual significance, gold holds a very special place in whole Indian subcontinent society. It associated with various deities and the vital part to play to religious rituals and ceremonies. Temples across the country are adorned with gold ornaments, emphasizing its divine and spiritual significance. Yes, this is the quality of gold. Yeah, please next. Now, we move on the modern India. Political scenario is changed. And in the whole, now Europeans are there. Okay, focus on two pictures and please, next two slides. Focus four beautiful ladies. All four ladies are Girmitia women. Okay, and please look carefully their ornaments. Okay, all these ornaments belongs to the silver jewelry. This is not, no. This is gold jewelry. This is silver jewelry. The description of the jewelry from nak to shik. This is called nak to shik. What is the meaning of nak to shik? Nak means toe and shik means head. You can see the head elements, the headgear, their necklaces, their armlets, their bangles, and nobody shows the also toe rings. I'm not talking about any virtual aspect. I'm going to show you the actual jewelry of that time. Just please. No. Please focus on. Can you show? I'm showing you the original jewelry of that time. Please. Yeah. Can everybody is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we're seeing it.
Yeah. Okay. Here is all you can see. There are only four elements using to making a jewelry. The geometrical designs, the floral designs, and religious designs. I'm focusing all the geometrical designs, and see, this is the geometrical design. All these belongs to the Girmitia woman's jewelry. See, this is the element. This all jewelry is part of my collection, my personal collection. The religious elements. See, this is the religious elements. And the peacock design. And I especially want to focus on 4 patterns. This is originally 1 pattern, 2 pattern, and the 3 pattern. These jewelry belongs to the 100 years, originally 100 years old. And I'm the 4th generation who is holding this jewelry. This is jhanjar of that time. Again, the pile and the beads. I have focused on the pictures. These are the beads. See, these are the beads and the coins. And these are the, I use a simple term, naktushik. These are the toe. These are the toe rings. And again, a beautiful jewelry piece of religious. Now, one more thing I want to show you, the weight. Now, this only piece belongs to the 399 grams. No, sorry. Huh. What I want to prove? This is pure silver jewelry. The main element of that society that is absent that time of society is gold was absent. Convert all these 4 pictures into gold jewelry. Then imagine the history. Then the history will be the same? No, never. The migration of Indians as a Girmitia Mazdoor, never be. The main point is, this is the only element. Gold is the only element. If that is absent in any society, that society can't be grown. Convert the whole silver jewelry in the gold jewelry. These women will be the most sophisticated women of the world. I'm not discussing here the political decisions, the economic decisions of Britishers or any other European power. No, I'm not discussing any point. I'm only discussing the elements that was absent in modern India, and especially 16th century, we were on the top. 17th century made, we were on the top. Not of the political scenario, because we were a very stable society. And a single element that was gold was present in our society. That is why we migrate, but as a merchant, as a trader. We were not migrated, or Indian diaspora was not known as the Girmitia Mazdoor. Who was responsible? It's a big decision points, or it's a big discussion point also. Who is responsible, who is not responsible, what economic policies. But this is the fact. Only a single element was there that was absent, is gold. We migrated in very pitiful condition. The all jewelry, just think in a second, the all jewelry I have shown to, if I convert this jewelry into gold jewelry, the value will be same? The history will be same? No. Your attitude, your each and everything will be changed. This is the power of gold. That is why, thank you so much for choose such a mind-blowing topic. And I was surprised. No historian is discussing on this element, this point. I'm 100% sure if gold will be there, Girmitia Mazdoor Indian Diaspora can't be connected with each other. Then part of history, what was the part of history? Indian merchants, Indian traders, the best in the economy of Indian subcontinent scenario. That was the history. Again, thank you so much. I was trying to prove the fact, the importance of your topic. And that is because only by pictures or virtual things, because nobody can prove. So, which pieces I have sorted out to prove my point. And thank you so much to listen, all of you, very quietly. Thank you. And have a nice time.
Excellent, Shushis. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you to please raise your electronic hand if you would like to ask a question before we take our next speaker. So if you look at the base of your screen, you'll be able to click on the reactions button, and in there you will see the electronic hand, and we can pose a question or two to Sushi before she prays. Sushi, but let me just ask you, please. I really quite pleasantly surprised with those pieces that you showed. We do not see Gurmitia jewelry. This is the first time that I've actually seen Gurmitia jewelry, and I thank you so much for bringing that to us. I want to ask you though, is there gender-specific jewelry among your collection?
No.
Was there jewelry for males and different jewelry for females?
Yes, sometimes here I have only female jewelry. All this.
So what did males wear that was different from females?
Yeah, that is kada. Kada and a necklace, neck piece. Okay, a kada. Kada means you can say bangle, but a big bangle, a solid big bangle. And in foot, there is also a kada.
Okay.
And in your neck, there is a necklace.
Okay. And have you been able to find from any of the other countries in the diaspora, have you been able to find a predominance of a certain type of jewelry? Yes,
No.
what was that?
Actually, all the jewelry that belongs to Indian subcontinent, there are only 3 elements. And the Girmitia people all migrated. When they migrated, they take same to same their culture, their heritage with them. And surprisingly, the Indian artisans in Fiji, and I'm quite sure about Fiji and Suriname also. There are the same patterns in silver jewelry, but in gold jewelry now they are not using their religious designs. They are only using geometrical patterns, and they are using floral patterns there.
Floral patterns, right? Okay.
Yeah, religious designs are absent now.
All right. So thank you very much for making that distinction.
Thank you.
We really
Thank
appreciate it. Quite an enlightening presentation.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and we do apologize for the little technical glitches that occurred. Let's move on to our second speaker, and hopefully this one will be a lot clearer. Mr. Vijay Kumar Kamar is from Bangalore in India. He's the Director of Global Marketing with 30 years of experience in business development and marketing. He's also the Chief Executive in forging, casting, and CNC machining. He also translates Indian languages, specifically Kannada, into English and has a book published on that. So welcome, Mr. Kamar.
Thank you. Thank you, Shalima Mohammadji,
You're welcome.
for giving me a beautiful introduction. Thank you very much for that. Can you make this pin my picture over there?
Sure, you'd like to get your presentation now? Yes?
I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my views on the economy of gold in India and Indian diaspora. Thank you very much to Dr. Kumar Mahabir, Dr. Shalima Mohammadji, and Shobi Ali giving me an opportunity here to present my views. Let me share my. Okay, is it visible now? Okay.
Yes.
Economy of gold.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Economy of gold in Indian diaspora. Okay. Metallurgically, gold is one of the most malleable, ductile, conductive metal. The chemistry and the ductility of the gold has already been explained by Dr. Shushi Gupta. It's a non-destructive, as she said, brilliant yellow color and a beautiful metal. These unique set of qualities has made it's a desirable entity for the most of the human history in almost every civilization. There have been active gold markets for over the 6,000 years. Hundreds of papers have been written on gold as a money, as an investment, as a store value, or a the source of value, etc., regarding the gold. The current picture shows that India has a minimal domestic production. As Shalima Mohammadji asked me to concentrate on the gold production in India, so I am giving you these figures. In 2019, a domestic recycled gold increased to 29%. That's 116 tons in 2019. This recycled gold means whatever the jewelries are available, they have been recycled. The Indian gold industry employs around 2.5 million people and contributes more than $30 billion to the domestic economy. Gold mining in India dates back to the first millennium BC, and throughout the 20th century was dominated by the Kolar gold field near Bangalore. We call it as a KGF. It's a Kolar gold field. The Kolar gold field closed in 2001, having produced more than 800 tons of gold during its 120 years history. Other significant producers have been the Hatti gold mines in the Raichur district of Karnataka. The operation initially entered production in 1902, although it subsequently closed in 1918 because of paucity of the funds due to the World War I. Since it restarted in 1947, it has produced around 84 tons of gold and is currently the only significant gold producer in India. The majority of these reserves are in the state of Karnataka, that is my state, and account for almost 88% of the total production of gold in India. A further 12% of the gold mines are situated in Andhra Pradesh, and an insignificant amount are found in Jharkhand, Bihar, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. It's a very minimal quantity of gold is produced here in these places. Now, what are all the live gold mines in India as of now is Lava gold mines in Jharkhand, Sonbhadra gold mines in Uttar Pradesh, Parsai gold mines in Jharkhand, Pahadia gold mines in Jharkhand, Kundar Kocha gold mine in Jharkhand, Bihardari gold mines in Bihardari gold reserves. Recently, they have found these gold mines through the survey and mapping and other things. All put together, these gold mines produce around 12% of the total production of gold in India. Gold has been a precious and highly recognized media of transaction, began around 600 BC, and in various form as a money, a jewelry, and form of value for many centuries. Gold value plays a unique role in monetary policy, fiscal policy, and the economic development of a country. Internationally, gold, as Shuchi Gupta ji told, since 1700, this thing, India was the golden peacock. So it is true in the form of gold also. Gold value plays a unique role in monetary policy, fiscal policy, and economic development of a country. Internationally, gold as a monetary system accepted between 1870 and 1920. Gold remained the valuer of currencies for almost all countries. Widespread acceptance of paper currency in 19th century emerged as an alternative for the bullion standard. Gold coins were replaced by paper currencies released by central banks or reserve banks, what you can call. The foundation for the banking systems also is laid by goldsmiths in the 17th century. This goldsmith community plays a very, very important role in the economy of Indian economy. Whenever people need money, goldsmiths started to keep gold ornaments safely with them and used to give money and give the receipt along with that. The fact of faith and security in the due course of time led to the banking system. This is the effective economical this thing of gold. Since that gold as an integral part of the economy, gold has a central role in the culture, considered a store value, a symbol of wealth and status, and a fundamental part of many rituals among Indians and the Indian diaspora. Rising income in India and the Indian diaspora is the most powerful driver of the gold economy. For almost all the festivals, functions, people used to wear the gold ornaments. It is considered as an auspicious thing. The International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, forecast per capita GDP growth of India of 23% between 2023 and 28, which plays a very significant role in the economic scenario of the world. Now let us come to the family savings. The family savings is a very, very important factor in the Indian economic scenario. The family savings is around 80% of the total savings in India, is out of which 50% is in the form of gold. That's why Indian economy, we call it as a culturally driven economy. In the last session, which I made a presentation, I fairly given importance to this culturally driven economy. When Dr. Manmohan Singh he was a finance minister. Mr. Jagdish Bhagwati advised him to take Indian women spent to bring down the family savings. Dr. Jagdish Bhagwati, as we all know, is the promoter of the WTO, World Trade Organization. Manmohan Singh was also a great economic advisor. According to Dr. Jagdish Bhagwati, the family savings in 1983 was 19% of the GDP. According to Dr. Jagdish Bhagwati, it is very, very high. He said, bring down the family savings to 10% and utilize the 9% of the consumption for consumption, that is expenditure and purchases. But Indian families defied his advice. Dr. Manmohan Singh liberalized all the barriers between, and he promoted all the liberalization. Even then, the Indian family is not able to make the expenditure and purchases. As their income expanded, Indian families ramped up their savings to 28% in 2009, but maintained their moderate consumption. This saving insulated India from contagion effect of the global crisis of economic meltdown in 2000. And that is why the savings of a country is very, very important. That's what Dr. Jagdish Bhagwati also said after the advice. That is why the Indian economy is also called as the feminine in nature. So as we understand, the Indian economy is a feminine in nature. The lust for gold in India and the Indian diaspora is very, very phenomenal and known for its cultural heritage. Besides known for its ornamental value, it plays a crucial role in the economy for its widespread gold loan utilization. Almost a lifeline for any untoward expenses or incidents happens within the family and is considered as an investment and savings which may come to rescue during financial crisis of a family. Especially a rural population recognizes gold as the safest saving that can be converted into cash in the shortest possible time, and that is true as well in India. To substantiate this fact, we find that around 60% of the gold jewelry is sold in rural areas where there is a need to increase the financial inclusion. Now, whether government permits or not, the gold will come to India. You can see the map here. So the continuous increase of purchase of gold in India, it is there. India and China import almost half of the gold production in the world. In 1995, the total gold production in the world was 2,865 tons. India imported around 477 tons. That is 16% of the total production. In 2015, total gold production in the world was around 3,428 tons, 27 tons. India imported around 848 tons. So that is the 25% of the total production of the world. India's private holding of gold was 14,500 tons, which is 1.5 lakh crores, which is around 45% of the Indian GDP. Now, it is estimated that from 1948 to 1875, placer in the form of production of the gold produced around 87% of the world's production, then followed by the period of rapid exploitation of the lode. That is also one of the type of production of the gold, or vein gold mines in various parts of the world. The main mining field being in North America, South America, and Australia. Since 1880, Kolar gold field in Karnataka state of India was supplying considerable quantities of gold to the world. Now coming to the festivals, so Diwali being one of the most important Indian festival and other regional festivals across the country and are celebrated with the purchase of gold ornaments. This purchase of gold is believed to be very auspicious. In India, the best celebrated festivals are in South India, Akshaya Tritiya, Pongal, Onam, and Yugadi. East India, it is a Durga Puja. West India, it is a Gudi Padwa. You can find in the state of Maharashtra. North India, it is Baisakhi and Kadwa Chauth. Almost all marriage functions in Indian society and Indian diaspora Gifting gold ornament is an essential part of that ceremonies. These weddings generates approximately around 50% of the annual gold demand in India and the Indian diaspora. Now, if you look at the percentage of investment, that is safe investment is around 75% of the same. Ornamentation, for ornamentation, they use 60%. Festivals, it's around 40%. Marriage ceremonies are around 35%. Special occasions, 30%. Cultural, that is collateral security, it's around 30%. Gifting percent, they purchase around 25%. Specific objectives around 50%. For others, around 2%. So, with all the adverse economic exploitation for over 500 years, India emerged as an economical superpower mainly because of the strong fundamentals of culturally driven economy. This is the way, a tagline of our Indian economy. It is a culturally driven economy. The family-run business helped the economy to tickle. Though it was deteriorated during a loot by Mughal invaders and the colonial rule, the role of NRI has become the strength, and the entire world started looking back India as an investment destination. At present, we have a fiscally honest Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, who doesn't care about the consequences and only bother about the growth of the country, can turn into an economical giant in the coming years. Let us say India first. So these are some of the references which I have made during the making the presentation of this. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity here. Thank you, ICC, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Excellent, Mr. Kamar, as usual.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very informative. Thank you so much. Let me ask you this question, and members of the audience, you are invited to also please raise your electronic hands so that you can pose questions to Mr. Kamar. I just want to ask you, you said the gold loan utilization is widespread. Can you tell us how that works in India?
Yes, gold as a store value is considered to be a very, very safest commodity. Whenever we want to build a house or any commercial activities we want to take up, they place the gold in the bank. Immediately, they will give within 30 minutes, they can get the exact value of the gold, whatever is there. And that in that way, the gold plays a very, very specific and important role in getting the loan immediately, or otherwise there are a lot of documents for getting the loan, in other words. But gold is very, very fast recovery of money. That's where in India, gold is considered to be a safest investment.
Right. So it's actually collateral.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
For loans. It's actually collateral for loans. Yeah. Okay. You also mentioned that India imports a significant amount of gold. Which are the countries that India imports gold from?
Yeah, basically from Australia and USA.
Australia and the USA?
Yes.
Not Africa?
Africa, yes, they will import, but significant amount comes from USA and Australia. Africa may come in the third place.
Okay, I see. So thanks for that. Dr. Rohan Kanhai has a question in the chat, but I see Dr. Mahavir's hand up. Dr. Mahavir, go ahead, please.
Yes, very good, excellent presentation. Well researched, Vijaya Kamar.
Thank you, sir.
I want to ask, I know you have probably said in the presentation, but specifically, do you have gold mines in India? How much gold does India produce?
Yes. Yeah, around 800 tons it has produced in Kolar Goldfield. And particularly 88% of the total production has come from Kolar Goldfield. Now, Kolar Goldfield has closed. Now, Hatti Gold Mines is producing the gold in India as of now. And still another 8 gold mines we have located in Jharkhand and West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. That amounts to be around 12% of the gold produced at present in India. And a beautiful gold mine has been found in Bihar. That may give around 15% of the gold production in the near 5 years of time.
Okay, excellent. And are these gold mines privately owned, or are they owned by the government of each of the states?
No, none of the gold mines are owned by privately. It is 100% government owned gold mines. The Bharat Gold Mines is the
Okay.
entity which plays a role in producing the gold. None of the fields are private. 100% government
See.
produced.
Okay, thanks for that
Yes.
clarification.
So,
Right.
thank you.
Dr. Kanhai's question is, does gold hoarding result in a constriction of the economy or contraction of the economy? Does gold hoarding result in contraction of the economy so that the poor become poorer? Can you give an opinion on that?
That gold plays a very important role in the economy. Wherever the government want to print the currencies, the equal amount of gold has to be kept in the Central Reserve Bank. So that's why the gold plays a very important role as far as the government is concerned. And as far as the personal entity is concerned, gold is supposed to be the calculator of the richness of any family or any person. So any person holds the maximum gold is considered to be a rich person. That's the Indian perception as far as gold is concerned. But as far as government is concerned, anywhere they want to print the currencies, the equal amount of gold has to be kept in the Central Reserve Bank for printing the currency.
Okay, so I'll just invite Shushi to make a comment on this question as well, please. How does
Yeah.
gold hoarding by those who do have it affect the poor?
No, I want to add only one point. That was missing in my.
Sure.
Imagine we have a single gold mine, Kolar gold mine, in ancient times. Only a single. Okay. And beside that, we were the golden sparrow of the world. Can you imagine? Persians were there, Egypt civilization were there, Chinese were there. They all have gold mines. They all have. We haven't gold mine, but despite that, we were the golden sparrow of the world. Sone ki chidiya.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
So this term of Sone ki chidiya is
Yeah.
till 1700th century, India was
The number
was a
one.
country which produced most of the products of the world. You take agriculture products, you take implements, you take any other this thing. India was producing most of the products of the world. That means
And in
50%
world
of
GDP,
world,
GDP,
the
we
whole
were number
world.
one. Yeah.
Yes, number one, 50% of the total production of the world, India used to produce, so that people used to come to India to purchase and go back. Can you imagine in Alexander's period, they used to bring gold to purchase the iron from India. So that was the significance of the production in India. You will be surprised to know that India was the only country which produced zinc and magnesium for the first time.
Mhm.
That technology was available with India because zinc will be liquid till 950 degrees centigrade and used to evaporate 955 degrees centigrade. Within that 5-degree increment, India used to make that zinc. So people used to come to India, purchase zinc, iron, magnesium, and they used to bring the gold. And in Vijayanagara Empire period, gold ornaments and these pearls used to sell in the streets like vegetables. People used to come from Middle East to purchase horses. Imagine the purchase horses from India. So in that way, Sone ki chidiya means it does not only producing the gold, it is producing things for the world. In that way, we have to consider Sone ki chidiya as India, golden sparrow of the world. Thank you.
And in 17th century, we were number one in world GDP.
In the last presentation, I made all the slides because one Mr. Angus Madison studied the economy of the whole world for 2000 years. In that, he clearly what zero CE, what was the production at 1000 CE, what was the production at 1800. You see, the 79 scholars, they have studied the total production, total economy of the world. In that, he mentions in 166th page of his research work, he says India was the best producer, that means a good quality of products in the world. So people used to come to India, and he mentions specifically as an Indian entity for the economy and the production. If you go to the Angus Madison's book, two books he has produced, around 79 scholars, they have worked on that 2000 years economy. They said, you cannot find any other country better than India, producers of the world, he said. That is a proud moment for us in India. If you see the 166th page of that, he especially mentions about Indian products. So that's where India is called the golden sparrow, not because of the gold production, but for the various items of the production, especially agricultural products. Thank you.
Excellent information. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
So at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind everyone that gold jewelry in particular is going to be sold, if it hasn't been already, it's going to be sold in large quantities for Valentine's Day, which will be observed on Wednesday. So we want to create some memorable moments for you with the following song, Masta Masta Done. Navin, can we have that, please? Navin, can we get the song, please?
I am reminding him.
Yes, Anita, it was quite informative. A lot of statistics there that reminds us about why we too need to hold some gold and why we need to protect those heirlooms.
तुझको सांझ सवेरे नैनों में बसियां जैसे नैन ये तेरे नैनों में बसियां जैसे नैन ये तेरे तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन। पहले पहल तुझे देखा तो दिल मेरा धड़का है, धड़का धड़का है, जल जल उठा हूँ मैं, शोला जो प्यार का भड़का है, भड़का भड़का है, नींदों में भूल गए हैं सपने जो तेरे, बदले से लग रहे हैं अंदाज मेरे, बदले से लग रहे हैं अंदाज मेरे, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन।
तुझसे शुरू हुई, तुझ पे ही खात्मा हो, दुनिया मेरी दुनिया, दुनिया मेरी, ये बात दिल में थी, नैनों ने बोल दी, मैं हूँ तेरी, मैं हूँ तेरी, तुझको ही याद करके आहे भरूं मैं, मिलके भी मिल ना पाऊं, अब क्या करूं मैं, मिलके भी मिल ना पाऊं, अब क्या करूं मैं।
तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, मेरे दिल का ले गए चैन, तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन।
Okay, so there we have it. Lovely song there from the movie Dabang. The song was composed by Sajid and Wajid, that brother team, and sung by Rahat Fateh Ali Khan and Shreya Ghoshal. Lovely. So I hope it puts you in the mood for Valentine's Day. Let's hear from our third speaker now, and this is Mr. Jayant Raniga of England. He is working in the luxury fine jewelry industry, doing design and manufacturing, following a heritage of over 10 generations. His vision is to preserve heritage craftsmanship for the future. Welcome, Mr. Raniga.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the ICC and for holding this incredible marathon of events. Congratulations. This is truly remarkable. And thank you to my previous speakers, Dr. Sushi and Dr. Vijay Kumar. It was really very informative and I really enjoyed it and learned so much. And yeah, so my perspective today is really to talk about the UK and you know, the jewelry scene here in the United Kingdom generally. So I'll just share my presentation with you. So Pure Jewels is the company I'm running here in London. We've been I'm the third generation in this business, which was established by my grandfather in 1950 in Nairobi in Kenya. So he at a young age jumped on a ship from Gujarat in India and migrated to East Africa. It was you can imagine it was an incredible journey of not knowing, you know, what the future held. So he started working in Nairobi as a jeweler, as his father before him had been, and a jeweler, and he established the company in 1950 to what it is today. in the mid-70s, we moved to the United Kingdom, my father, my two uncles, and we established Pure Jewels by Panji Gokuldas here in London. So we're considered one of the oldest jewelers in the southeast of London. So we still have preserved a lot of our manufacturing heritage here in London. This you can see on the right-hand side. This is my grandfather's workbench and some of our vintage tools. A lot of these vintage tools were imported, literally brought with us from East Africa, and are still in operation today. So today, what we're talking about is really the focus of jewelry and the importance of jewelry of the Indian diaspora, and I would even expand that to the South Asian diaspora here in the United Kingdom, and what we find works really well with our audience is our whole notion of celebrating journeys with them, and we do that by preserving our craft. And you can see the type of jewelry, whether it's bridal, whether it's self-purchase, etc., that we can produce. So the question is, why do the Indian diaspora love gold? This is the million-dollar question. And what we found, over the years and decades that we've been operating, there are two very, very distinct perspectives that have really come into the fore as why we love gold. And I think it's the word love that's really, really important. And one perspective, I'm just going to play a video.
I like gold because of its prestigious quality, and it symbolizes wealth and refinement, and it has always been part of our cultural heritage.
I don't know if you heard that, but one perspective is we love gold because of its prestigious quality, its sense of value, its investment value, its store of wealth, the status that it presents. And of course, there's another perspective that also exists of why people love gold.
What do you think of your ring?
Absolutely love it. Beautiful. Look at the shine. Look at the shine.
And the other perspective, of course, is the intrinsic beauty of gold, how it feels. The majority of anecdotes that we get from our customers is, when we ask, why do you love gold? And, the initial knee-jerk would be, oh, because it's valuable. It sort of, it holds its value. It's investment, etc. And then I always push that question further, and I say, no, why do you love gold? And then, a little bit of soul searching happens. And the response I get at that point is, it feels nice. It has a lovely weight. The color is amazing. It's the color of the sun. The color of gold is the color of the sun. I feel really empowered when I'm wearing it. It sort of feels part of who I am as a person. It really presents my identity in terms of how I feel about myself. And I think that's a very, very powerful emotive reason why people love gold. So on the one hand, we have a very masculine mindset, which is about investment, store of value, etc. And then you've got the emotive aspects of it as well, which is talking about how it feels and the luxury of it and the warmth that the metal, and we know the properties. We've been educated by the two professors that the physical properties of gold are so incredible that of course when you put that against your skin, it has incredibly therapeutic properties. That's really very powerful. And the other aspect, of course, is that the tastes have, of course, evolved as time has gone on. So one of the big challenges we face as a brand is how do we continue to remain relevant to our audience? What is our duty as a brand to ensure that we are continuously on point for our customers and that we have, we're fulfilling a particular need? And one of the things we're finding is that we're dealing with multiple generations of customers. We've got mums coming in with their daughters. The biggest frustration mums have is, oh, I have all this jewelry in my box, and my daughter doesn't like any of it. She's buying all this sort of fashionable, but I'd rather she buys real gold because it's such a important investment. And I think this is the key point. It's a difference in obviously generational difference, but also there's two things that we have to satisfy as a company. Is number one, we have to fulfill the parents' mindset that gold is a investment value and it's valuable, but we also have to have a duty to fulfill the consumer, the current consumer, say the daughters or the children, to say that they want design. They want avant-garde design that they can wear, they can enjoy. We can see how the world has changed since the pandemic. We're not necessarily attending as many events or as many weddings. So apart from the investment factor, where else do we see purpose as far as gold is concerned? What are the things that are really, really important from our customers' perspective? And what we're finding is that the younger generation, if we're talking about late millennial and Gen Z, customers who have a massive influence at the moment in terms of buying decisions within the household, what are they looking for? They're looking for companies that they can, connect with. They're looking for companies that they that share their own personal value system. And what is that value system? They're talking about sustainability, they're talking about craftsmanship, they're talking about authenticity, and they're talking about investment, they're talking about fair trade. How is the entire supply chain treated in the entire process? So companies like us, we work very hard to be as transparent as possible, not only in terms of how we cost and value things, but also what is our whole system of procurement? How do we manage the entire supply chain, and what impact do we make on the craftspeople that are creating these amazing pieces of art that can be enjoyed for future generations? So these are the type of questions we're really having to answer, and I believe it's a fantastic evolution in terms of how the market's moving forward. Globally, we see this in India, we see this here. The younger generation are holding brands more and more accountable to how they conduct themselves. So it's all good from that point of view. But that also means that our customers are looking for deeper connections to the pieces they're buying. They're looking for symbolism. They're looking for, for instance, we have a collection called rosettes. They're looking for and the reason someone might go for a rosette is because they're celebrating their personal achievement in life. And what better way to celebrate your achievement than with your own personal rosette as a reward for that achievement. And of course, we have other collections which symbolize fearlessness. Our Armari collection, when people look at it, they love the lattice, work on it. And it gives them a sense of empowerment and fearlessness, which I think is a very powerful symbolism in jewelry. So it's not just enough for us as a company to talk about just the intrinsic properties of gold and the intrinsic value of gold. Design has become just as important a commodity, you can say, or just as valuable as the commodity itself. And the way we're presenting our whole position in the market is that we're saying this is the symbolism, this is the design, this is the quality of the product we're producing. Oh, and by the way, the bonus is that it's gold. And I think that's a very profound approach. And this is something which is definitely appealing to the new generation. And this is where I feel as a company, we have an ever-ending duty to be relevant to. So, do these pieces look like? You know, we're not selling locker jewelry anymore. We're not selling those big bridal pieces because, of course, you know, the advent of costume jewelry is coming in where everything is coordinated, everything is costume. But when we're talking about gold in particular, it's much more personal. It's a much more intimate purchase. This is something, you know, the parents are buying for their children, and versatility becomes even more important at that point. So what do these examples look like? So I'm just going to play a video, a campaign video that gives you a little insight in terms of, you know, a snapshot of the type of pieces that are working for us. Let me know if everyone can see it. And you know, and you can imagine, I hope everyone saw that video and it was clear. And if we were to look at the actual
It was. Thank you.
That's great. And if we were to look at the numbers, what do the numbers say? What is the UK looking like as far as performance is concerned? What's happening? Is it a growth market? Is it a stagnant market? Is it contracting? Where are the opportunities as far as the gold jewelry industry is concerned in the United Kingdom? Now, these are numbers which have been very kindly supplied to us by the 4 SA offices in UK. And Birmingham SA office compiles these numbers every year, and these are the hallmarking. So it's a legal requirement for all gold jewelry to be physically hallmarked in the United Kingdom. It's a legal requirement. And that means, of course, we have access to amazing data. So you've got the London, Sheffield, Edinburgh, and Birmingham SA offices. They all collate their figures. And this is what it looks like. If we look at 22 karat gold in terms of number of articles, in 2022, 432,000 articles were hallmarked. In 2023, that was 455. That was a 5.5% increase in the number of articles hallmarked in 2023 compared to 2022. Now, that clearly is an interesting figure if we look at it against the backdrop of what the rest of the industry is doing. If you look at 18 karat, for instance, there was a 14% drop in the number of articles being hallmarked in that year, and 9 karat was a 12.2% drop. So for the 22 karat market showing a 5.5% increase in the context of this type of economic reality shows the robustness of the Indian diaspora within the United Kingdom, that they're still consuming gold, they still believe in gold, they still believe it from an intrinsic point of view. And as long as companies like us, for instance, are innovating in terms of design, creating avant-garde styles and satisfying customers, not only from the investment perspective, but also satisfying them from their emotional needs, then it's a very, very robust market. And this is not by mistake. And, you know, we're seeing these trends across the rest of the world. As my previous speakers said, that India is such a robust, it's so much in our DNA, it's so much in the blood to own gold. This is a much higher priority for the Indian diaspora, certainly in the United Kingdom. Another interesting trend which is emerging certainly this year is, you know, 24 karat gold jewelry. If you were to consider that as purely from an investment perspective, these hallmarking figures are for 24 karat gold jewelry, not bullion, not gold bars, not coins. This is actual jewelry made out of 24 karat. It's a very small market in the United Kingdom. It only accounts for 0.2% of the entire number of articles that are being hallmarked in these essay office, yet it saw a 25% increase in that year period. So this is interesting. If you were to consider the trend and how the direction is going as far as the United Kingdom is concerned, you can see how savvy the customers are becoming, and this idea is becoming, and it'll be interesting to see what happens certainly in 2024. So from that perspective, the numbers speak for themselves. And to conclude, the whole conversation, there's a lot of things that are evolving in certainly with our customer bases. It's this idea of investment versus symbolisms. It's about aligning ourselves as a brand to our customers. It's not enough that we align to our customers' need for investment and store of value. We have to align to their very intrinsic value system, which means what is our involvement in the entire supply chain? What is this? Do we know where the supply of our metal is coming from? How are we as a company safeguarding the well-being of our entire ecosystem and community as far as the jewelry industry is concerned? The other aspect when it comes to buying gold, and we're seeing gold prices at record highs, as everyone knows, the price of gold continuously goes up. It's about not just having gold. The way trends are shifting and mindsets shifting at the moment is we're seeing that customers are not just buying gold to put in their lockers. They want to buy pieces that they can truly enjoy, wear, and present their own value system. And this isn't necessarily to show off or show them their status. This is for very personal consumption. This is about how they feel about their personal values and how it's represented in the pieces, which means that companies like us are under pressure to not only create a fantastic design, but also create authenticity in terms of what does that design mean? Where does it come from? What's the craftsmanship that's involved? And that makes the conversations a lot more interesting. And of course, as a company, we have to, there's one thing which is a fact: we have to continuously innovate. We have to rethink, reimagine. We have to listen. We have to, think about what's going to be next on trend. So we have to be continuously innovating. So I believe, for sure, from the United Kingdom, I can tell you that like the rest of the world, and certainly like India and the rest of the diaspora countries, gold is forever. Thank you very much. This is our website, purejewels.com. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent, Mr. Raniga. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think you should also share exactly where you are located. We have some people here who are very interested in the stuff that you sell.
Thank you very much. We're based in East London, in Green Street in London, England. And our address and everything is on
great.
our
So
website as well.
Tell us exactly.
Yeah. So it's purejewels.com is our website.
Wonderful. Thank you. Can you just share with us what does 24 karat mean for someone who is buying to invest?
Yep. So 24 karat comes in various forms. The traditional way people are buying gold for investment purposes is in gold bars and gold coins. And in the United Kingdom, which is produced in the refineries here in the UK, it is quadruple 9 purity, which means it's 99.99% pure gold. So it's a very high purity.
Excellent.
So a lot of coins and bars are made like that.
Okay. Where is England buying its gold from?
So gold comes in from multiple different locations. London, if you think about the price of gold globally, it is very much established in the in London itself. You have the AM fix and the PM fix, and of course it's you know, traded continuously in the exchanges. So the gold itself comes from either South Africa, it comes in from various central banks with their reserves, so the US, etc., from Australia, of course, where it's mined. But a lot of that gold would go into the refineries. Those refineries might exist in Switzerland, in US, in UK as well, and then it's refined and then presented as you know, manufacturing gold, basically. So we would go to a refiner to buy some of our manufacturing gold. But of course, don't forget, a lot of customers are recycling gold as well at the same time. So a lot of our manufacturing comes from that recycling process.
Right. So I was just trying to ascertain whether there is trade in gold between England and India.
Yes, there is. So a lot of finished production, a lot of finished jewelry would come in from India as well. So finished jewelry. So India is a major manufacturing base for the UK.
Okay, so Laura had a question in the chat. She wanted to know whether the pieces that you showed were handcrafted.
Yes. So some of the pieces which I showed in the presentation, there's a few techniques. So if you think about the rudimentary methods of manufacturing all gold ornaments, there are 3 foundation methods of making jewelry. It's either by wire, by sheet, or it's melted and put into a mold to create a cast piece. So there are 3 fundamental ways of manufacturing jewelry. Wire work, you see a lot of wire work in the filigree type of jewelry that you see. Some of the pieces which we were showing was die stamped. So that's putting a sheet of metal through a stamping, and then it sort of presses the details out. And then the art, the craftsmanship in something like that would be the karigar's method of putting those individual die stamps together in a mosaic form. So it's quite a process, and it's very, very fascinating. When you come to London, I'll show you our workshop and I'll show you the process of how it's done.
We'd love to. Meanwhile, Shobi will check out your place for us. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Jay Ranaga from England, and we now move on to our 4th and final speaker. This is Professor Joy Mahabir of the USA. She's formerly from right here in Trinidad. She's the author of 3 published articles on Indo-Caribbean jewelry and the co-editor of the book entitled Critical Perspectives on Indo-Caribbean Women's Literature. Welcome, Professor Mahabir.
Thank you. Okay, could you, thank you for the invitation to present, and I will be presenting on Indo-Caribbean jewelry. Could I have the next slide, please? So I just wanted to explain my perspective. Many Caribbean cultural forms do not accede to transparency because of their historical place in struggles of resistance against the structures of colonialism and capitalism. And I see Indo-Caribbean jewelry as one of these forms, and I'm saying that the jewelry must be understood beyond adornment and fashion. Next slide, please. Many of you are familiar with these early 20th century postcards. They were commissioned by agricultural companies. We may also so we may also recognize some of the pieces, the sirbandis, the jumkas, the churia and beras. Now, in these colonial postcards, indentured women are posed as exotic and disciplined subjects, and their labor seems invisible. Yet the very presence of jewelry subverts the intention of these photographs, since the jewelry represents the wages and labor of these women. Indentured women were paid in silver shillings, and they had these fashioned into jewelry. They wore their wages, and in doing so, they made visible the fact that their labor was used to create profits for agricultural companies. Their jewelry as wages shows that even though they were paid less than men, indentured women were central to multinational networks of global capital operating during the period of indentureship. Next slide, please. So I think we have heard from the other presenters of the importance of jewelry as traditional adornment and symbolic gifts. We know that pieces are often presented to newborn children, young girls, and brides. Now, in the past, I've heard that in Islamic wedding rituals, women preferred to receive jewelry as the mahar, but I'm not sure if that's still the case. Together with traditional adornment and symbolic gifts, Indo-Caribbean jewelry also symbolizes wages, labor resistance, freedom, and independence. Next slide, please. So in terms of wages and labor in Northeast Trinidad, women and men who worked in the cocoa estates chose to wear the symbols of their labor and had the ends of bearers fashioned into cocoa pods. Now, I just wanted to add that men also wore jewelry, the main pieces being the tabige, the hoop earrings, and also bearers. So that's just an example of the jewelry, you know, as wages, and I'm emphasizing that they chose to wear symbols of their labor. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so when we think about what the cultural forms that Indians brought to the Caribbean, in addition to poetry, music, plants, food, and religions, Indians also brought practices of peasant insurgency. During indentureship, there were several strikes on the estates of South Trinidad. So if we think of the areas, the estates from Princestown to Monrepo, Union Hall, Retrench, etc., the jewelry of indenture is part of the iconography of these labor uprisings, seen on the raised arms of women. Now, there's an allusion to this aspect of the jewelry in Ramabai Espinet's novel, The Swinging Bridge, where she writes, and I'm quoting, quote, "Women's bodies covered with thick silver from wrist to elbow, ankle to mid-calf, would become walking banks, repositories of their family's wealth. The metal carapace served another purpose too, that of a weapon that could crush the head of an unwary attacker when wielded by an arm, unafraid of the swing of its power." Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so continuing with labor resistance, I'm reading the 1884 Jose Massacre as labor history. Bearers fashioned with tadges at the ends are an intimate reminder of the 1884 Jose Massacre in South Trinidad, when colonial police and British soldiers fired into a Jose procession attended by thousands after the crowd defied a ban on gathering. And this ban was actually placed on the Jose procession because of labor unrest. 30 years after this devastating incident, a mass grave of those killed was unearthed when the San Fernando market was being rebuilt on Mucurapo Street. There are no concrete memorials of the massacre, but jewelry has become a silent archive of resilience. Okay, can I have the next slide? Of course, women did not wear their jewelry in the fields. When not in the fields, many women wore their pieces like the market vendor in the postcard on the left. Now, although these colonial photographs are extremely staged and manipulated, this scene was actually the norm at the San Fernando market and at many other markets in Trinidad. Bedecked in the jewelry of indenture, women, now independent farmers, sold their vegetables, herbs, provisions, spices, and Indian sweets on wooden trays. Now, on the right, these are two churians separated from my great-grandmother's churia. And we know that in many families, these pieces would have been separated and passed down to younger generations. So I inherited this pair. Could I have the next slide, please? Okay. As women envisioned a better life for their children and community, they used their jewelry as collateral to secure loans for land, small businesses, or their children's education, resisting the colonial path of subservience and labor exploitation meant for the indentured. Peggy Mohan writes in her novel Jahajin that when Indians in Trinidad acquired middle-class status, the preference for gold emerged. Now, this would be very different in Guyana, where gold was always available and worn very early during indentureship in Guyana. So jewelry has very different socio-historical trajectories depending on the specific Caribbean space or island where indentureship occurred. These two pieces belong to my grandmother, Jane Sinanan. The necklace on the left was actually made by Ernest Rameser, who I believe is Peggy Mohan's grandfather. The gold bearer on the right was made by a private jeweler who traveled with his tools to private homes. When jewelry was crafted at homes, villagers would gather around to observe the process. And I think we need to read this that more than just an act of curiosity. What this communal assembly shows is that despite the brutalities of the colonial systems of slavery and indentureship, Caribbean people have forged their own ideas and appreciation of art and beauty. We have established our own aesthetic standards. And because it's Carnival weekend, I'll say beauty is in our DNA. Okay, seen everywhere in the Caribbean and its diaspora, Indo-Caribbean jewelry is intrinsic to Caribbean culture. This understanding of the jewelry registers in new pieces that incorporate island visuals, such as anthuriums, orchids, hibiscus flowers, or maps of islands. Now, as Vijay Kumar noted, jewelry is also seen in pujas to the goddesses, and I would say not just Durga, but also Lakshmi and Saraswati and their incarnations. And I have also seen Indo-Caribbean jewelry on the altars of Afro-Caribbean religious, I've seen it on Afro-Caribbean religious altars. So these are some reflections on Indo-Caribbean jewelry. Thank you.
This is quite an academic presentation on jewelry, and I've written down here your quote, "They wore their wages." I think you should use that as the title to a book or a paper or something. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to quote you on that, by the way. Excellent.
Oh, well, actually,
So
it was from, it was also written, I had read a piece from Amabai Espinet's novel, Swinging Bridge, and I think she has it there also.
So who should I give credit to, Ramabai Espinet or Joy Mahabir?
Oh, yes, well, Ramabai says
Excellent.
They would become walking banks, repositories of their family's wealth.
Yeah. So Dr. Roseanne Kanhai has her hand up. Let's take your first question from Luke. Go ahead, Dr. Kanhai.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me,
Yes,
Shrima?
we're hearing you.
There's not actually
Yes.
a question, kind of a comment and a question. What I was thinking is what Dr. Mahabir ended with, which is, as she was speaking, I was hoping she would come to this, and she did, which is that I have seen one family in particular, but I know it happens, more than with one family, who offer a gold necklace at Mount St. Benedict. So they take their child with them because their child is ill and they're asking, the divine or God to help them with their child, and they offer a piece of gold jewelry. And it is like the most precious thing that they have, that they can bring. That who knows, I could see from them that they are not wealthy people, who knows what it has taken as far as, working hard to get it, or whether they've inherited from a grandparent or parent, and that this is what they offer. And I was just so overwhelmed by the depth of their emotions and the depth of their faith, which came to be symbolized in offering this piece of gold on the altar at Mount St. Benedict. Also, of course, the whole multicultural, multi-religious nature of Trinidad, which it is not contradictory that they could do this. So I don't know how much you go into that, but you did end with that, so that's why I'm picking that up. So thank you.
Thanks so much for your comments, Roseanne. Yes, it's as I said, I've seen them on Afro, well, they've actually jewelry. The presentations are to the Loas or the Orishas, who represent femininity. So it would be mostly Yemaya or Shun in Afro-Caribbean religions. And it's quite interesting that they go to Mount St. Benedict, you said, because it seems that that the offering is across every religion. So, thanks for the comments, too. It's a kind of fruitful aspect to look at.
Thank you.
Dr. Mahaber, have you seen similar offerings at Siparimai?
Yes, a lot of papers have been written on Siparimai. That's the Roman Catholic church in Siparia in Trinidad, in which there is a statue of Virgin Mary, but a lot of Hindus go on Good Friday, and they do offer candles, sweet oil, and if there is some ailment to some part of the body, let's say the finger or a limb or so, they will make a piece of gold jewelry in that form and offer it, right? Offer it with the hope or with the faith that that ailment will be healed. But gold is used in a lot of other situations and circumstances. For instance, when someone in Trinidad is building a house, whether Hindu, Christian, Muslim, African, there is the belief that they put up a red flag, right? So that it will prevent injury. But Hindus also make an offering. They choose auspicious date in the patra, the calendar, and they dig a hole. The first hole, post hole, hole for the pillar. And they will offer the milk with the lota and mango leaves and so on, and a piece of jewelry. So gold is really symbolic. And in a lot of ways we can explore, and I'm sure papers have been done on the different ways that gold has been offered and the symbolism of it. For instance, when a child is born, across the ethnic divide, you don't give the child a silver bracelet, right? Or a silver chain. Is gold. So it has symbolic value. And I am sure some of us here in this chat room can talk about gold as therapeutic. I think Jay from England did mention that, and somebody else, Vijaya Kumar maybe. But yes, I know when people have arthritis, they wear a copper bracelet, but I'm sure they use gold for other ailments. I know it is used in the manufacture of medicine. And Joy, it'd be interesting to explore too gold used in dentistry. A lot of people, we see it now, a lot of the soca, calypso singers and so on, and long time a generation, to show their wealth, they will put a gold crown, a tooth, right? They would go to the dentist and have that outfitted. So that's my contribution.
But I also wanted to add that in some of the jewelry stores in Trinidad, there are jewelers who you know whose families, they've been jewelers for many, you know, since
Yes.
they came, and they see the value of the silver jewelry also. For example, there's an elongated churia in Ratton's Jewelry in jewelry store in Gulf City, and so they understand the value of that. But so I think both gold and silver is important in Trinidad. Now in Guyana, I think because gold was so easily available that it has a different register than in Trinidad. But
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to hear if anyone from Guyana has, you know.
Well, for this program, we tried very hard to get gold miners from Guyana, but we were not successful. You know, we contacted about 12 of them. Nobody responded. So it's unfortunate we do have a gold miner as a presenter. But, you know, Shalima and I have been discussing about doing a paper, and I have it all in my head, but we have to do the research and write it, on ethnic-based businesses in Trinidad. And there are a lot of Muslim jewelers. Of course, we have Mara jewelers and so on, but we have Faiz Khan and a whole lot of them. A lot of Muslims are into jewelry. And it's generational, as you rightly mentioned.
So Dwayne is asking about women wearing a gold toe ring because a vein is connected to the toe. So what is the relationship between gold and different parts of the body? What is the energy that is transferred from gold to different parts of the body? Is his question, I think. Dr. Mahabir, can you attempt to, Dr. Joy
No.
Mahabir, can you please respond to that?
I know Jay from England. I don't know if he may have or Vijaya Kumar.
Any of the speakers. Let's get Dr. Mahabir first.
Which Mahabir? Which Dr. Mahabir?
Okay,
Yes,
So I know
Joy
my
Mahabir.
wife wears a silver toe ring, so she wouldn't wear gold on her feet, coming from the Hindu culture. So she wears a silver toe ring, and I believe it's down to the sort of you know, the acupressure and the sort of pressure points of, you know, various parts of the foot, which leads to well-being. And I think it's mainly related to that. In fact, my grandfather, he worked in the workshop well into his 90s, and for the last decade of his life, all he made was silver, gold, and copper combined jewelry, mainly for therapeutic purposes. And any proceeds he got from that all went to charity. So it was a great way of you know, the twilight of his years to keep his skill alive and pass on a lot of his skills to new generations of craftspeople as well. So it was great fun at that time.
Great, thank you for that. Mr. Kamar.
Yeah, in India, women wear this bangles. This part of the hand, when they wear the bangles, that is directly connected to the menstruation periods. So during that period, women will face a lot of pains. Wearing that, it may reduce the pain. That is the scientific evidence which has been proved in India. So you can see a lot of women wearing a lot of bangles over there. That is the scientific reason why jewelries are connected to the body. Thank you.
And
Great,
Joy
thank you
did
for that.
point,
Dr. Joy Mahabir.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Joy Mahaber. Hold on, Dr. Mahaber. Dr. Joy Mahaber. Sorry.
Oh, no,
We can hear you now. Mhm.
Was there a question, another question?
Shalima.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shalima,
so-
was there another question? Because I'm not reading the chat.
Okay, so we were just wondering whether you wanted to add anything to that
Okay.
response from the others
Oh, no,
about
thanks.
the connection between gold and healing.
No, I just wanted to add that the way in certain areas where the air is pierced too, the piercing affects, some people have migraines and etc. Will pierce their ears and wear a little ring because it's the acupressure points. So yeah.
One more thing I want to add here. There is a proven fact they have given here in the website. Wearing a toe ring increases the fertility in this thing. That's what they have mentioned. Increase her fertility because of wearing the toe ring. That is the scientific reason they are giving. The second evidence.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Now, Dr. Kumar Mahaber.
Okay, I'm not sure if the bracelets were made out of gold, but I have done a paper, as so many people, and books have been written on the Hussein procession, which is observed in Trinidad, not nowhere else, not Guyana and not Suriname. Hussein, Muharram. And during that procession, the women would wear these turia bangles, and it's just as the men would whip themselves, self-flagellation, like we have the crucifixion reenactment of Jesus Christ and so on Good Friday. So too, the Muslims, the Shiite Muslims, the women would wear these bracelets and knock the bracelets against each other in their hands, so that they would break, and it would cause injury to their hands and their wrists. So I just want to bring that up. I doubt it might be gold, but we have to investigate.
It would have been silver, the elongated churia, because in the Jose in South, which is where the massacre occurred, every estate would bring out their own Jose procession. So this is why you would have thousands of people in the street. And what happened is that because of the strikes on the estates, the processions, they were banned. And why they fired into the crowd, why the British soldiers and the police fired into the crowd. But yes, it would be silver. Yeah. And so I'm saying that silver is also part of the iconography of the strikes, because I read that Jose massacre as part of the labor history that went before it. So it's part of it.
Sure.
And since we're talking about the Jose massacre, I just want to add something for anyone interested. Now, it's said in the records that maybe about 20 people died, but please be aware that these people who died were actually those who were wounded. So people were killed on the road. Those who were wounded were taken to the San Fernando Hospital, about 40 people, and of those 40 people, about 20 of them died. So that's where the number comes from, and it's very inaccurate.
Right, thanks. We really do need to find out, but I think even in the police records, there's nothing really to confirm how many were killed on the street. So the only record that they have of those who died would have been from the hospital, correct?
Yes, but when the San Fernando market was being built, because the bodies were, at that time, Paradise Cemetery extended out to Mocarapo Street, and it was a pauper's grave. So the bodies were thrown there. And we didn't know until they were rebuilding the San Fernando market. It was at the library corner, and they moved it to Macarapo Street. So that was when, you know, the grave was
Yes.
found.
You're muted. That was when they unearthed the bodies.
Yes.
Mhm.
So 30 years later, you know.
Interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that.
I actually have a little gold story, so unless you have questions. So I went to the Boston Carnival one year, and I saw an Afro-Trinidadian woman in full gold Indian jewelry, you know, the chakapahi and earrings and so on. So I asked her about it, and she said that it had belonged to her grandmother, and she wears it whenever she's going to something very festive. And then that same year, because, you know, I was a graduate student in English, I met Derek Walcott. So we were talking about the Boston Carnival because he had never been. And I mentioned that, and he just loved that image because, to go back to what Roseanne says, you know, the Caribbean is so complicated and multicultural. And we have a culture that is fused, you know, not just one culture. So I just wanted to bring that up, that, you know, of where I saw, you know, Indo-Caribbean gold jewelry.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. So we've had quite an explosion of information today, as well as lovely jewelry to look at. And I want to thank all of our speakers, Dr. Shushi Gupta from India, Vijay Kumar Kamar from Bangalore, India, Mr. Jayant Raniga from London, and Dr. Joy Mahabir, who is Trini, but in the US. Thank you very much. Extremely informative. And we appreciate the time that you all spent to bring us this great information. At this point in time, I want to bring today's program to a formal close, and I'll turn you all over now to Shobi.
Thank you, Shalimar, for being a great moderator as always. Thank you all for taking your time to attend and participate, and all the wonderful speakers. As we said earlier, this is a public meeting which is being hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Centre. Please feel free to contact ICC to publish your books and reports. Remember that we are asking you to kindly give us your suggestions as well as your donations. Please contact Dr. Mahabir for details on this. Thanks to the advisory and planning team led by Dr. Kumar Mahabir. And thank you also to our IT manager behind the scene, Naveen Mangal, who has been recording the program and will upload it to our website and to our YouTube site permanently for posterity. Also, a thanks to Mariam Mohammed for producing our TikTok videos. Our topic next week will be new books on indentureship and its legacies. Please visit our YouTube channel to see our past recordings. I'm Shobi Ali saying thank you for attending today. Goodbye. May God bless you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you all for coming and staying. And if you have any questions, we have a couple minutes again. So we will stop the recording, and you're free to talk.